Well, hello everybody, and welcome to Vinyl Treasures. I'm your host, Johnny G. John Glendale, coming to you live each and every Saturday, only here on Top Shelf Oldies. I want to welcome you to the November 25th, 2017 Vinyl Treasure Show. It's the last Saturday of the month. That means it's all 1960s original vinyl 45s out of my collection. I hope everybody had a happy Thanksgiving. I tried not to eat too much, and I guess I was successful with that. But, you know, I said I wasn't going to eat any more pies in the next couple of days. Of course, you know, that didn't go so well, but I have been holding back. Yes, I have. His guy, Johnny G, has to lose weight. Orders from the doctor, but I'm here for the next 2 hours spinning 1964 and later 60s sounds out of my collection. We opened up tonight's 60s edition on Ed Wingate's Rick Tick label out of Detroit, Michigan. The song did well nationally, I guess. 42 on Cashbox, number 27 on Billboard. Was a big #1 record up in Detroit, where it originated from, on WABQ. Also in Cleveland, Ohio, was a big #1 record there. And the group was comprised of the Detroit Symphony Orchestra and the Funk Brothers together. That is a cool sound there. They were known as the San Remo Golden Strings, the first of 4 on the Rick Tick record label. August 1965 release. Hungry for Love is the name of the tune, and hopefully you're not hungry for turkey anymore, but you're hungry for some cool 45s out of my 60s collection. So without further ado, and enough of my babbling here, and you know I only feature the real thing here on Saturday evenings, and it's real vinyl out of my collection. How appropriate to open up tonight's vocal portion with this gal from Greenwood, Mississippi, and her cover tune. This song originally done by Tina Britt, and let's give a listen to Betty Everett's version, April 1965. Betty Everett on VJ, and the song is called The Real Thing.
Well, it looks to me like this could be the real thing. Well, it looks to me like this could be the real thing. A change has come over me. My heart beats impatiently. I just can't wait till tonight, 'cause I know it's gonna hold me tight. And it looks to me like this could be the real thing. Well, it looks to me like this could be the real thing. Lately I've been acting strange. In my life there's been a change. I just didn't know how sweet it was, and I'm so glad to be in love. And it looks to me like this could be the real thing. Well, it looks to me like this could be the real thing. I keep walking round and round, talking about the love I found. I get such a thrill, my head keeps reeling. I'm so absent-minded, but really I don't mind it. Well, it looks to me like this could be. Well, it looks to me like this could be. Well, it looks to me like this could be the real thing. Every time you call me honey, I start to acting funny. And when you hold me, I feel so good. And you know you kiss me just like you should. And it looks to me like this could be the real thing. Well, it looks to me like this could be the real thing. Talking about the real thing. Yes, I'm talking about the real thing. Oh, baby, talking about the real thing. Talking about the real thing.
April 1965 there. That's the cover version, originally recorded by Tina Britt on the Eastern label. That's on Vivian Carter's VJ label. That's actually the B-side of the 45. Betty Everett there with a tune called The Real Thing. She started back in 1958 on Cobra Records. Had other releases on CJ, duets with the Iceman, Jerry Butler, but that was the B-side of her 10th release, 10 of 13 releases on the VJ label. Betty Everett with with The Real Thing. Of course, you know Johnny G features The Real Thing every Saturday from 10 to midnight right here. And let's continue with some cool 60s. Don't know much about this next group, though. They are known as The Previews. This song was reviewed on the May 15th, 1965 edition of Cashbox magazine, and they described the song as an infectious multi-dance rocker that would send the teens into a frenzy. And the young label could have a chart item with this new one. And let's give it a spin. It's on the new label. They're talking about the Veep label, a subsidiary of United Artists, but it's from May of 65. They're called The Previews. It's on Veep. The name of the tune is called Lovey Dove.
Tell me that you love me, then you say we're all through. First you tell me that you love me, then you say we're all through. Well, you know I'm going crazy, and it's all because of you. Lovey-dove, 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 lovey-dove.
Hey, liking that tune there in the Top Shelf Oldies chat. That's May 1965. They're known as The Previews. The Previews. It's on the Veep record label, Veep 1215. And the name is called Lovey Dove. At first, when I saw this record, I thought possibly it might be doing the Clovers, like 1956 tune Lovey Dovey, but no, it is not. But that one there by The Previews, and again, the record was produced by Sonny Lester. Now, Sonny Lester would soon form, after this release, the Solid State record label, which was the jazz division of United Artists. He's still going strong today. He's 93 years old, still around, Sonny Lester. But that's a cool tune. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. We continue, and this next artist, born in Lewiston, Maine, but he relocated to Connecticut in the late 1950s, began recording, I think, in 63 for Atlantic, but has other releases on labels like Vivid, Mala, Claridge, Bandbox, Date, Royal American, Canadian American, and the one that I'm featuring, Corsican. His real name is Robert Boulanger, and he co-wrote this tune. Of course, he was known as Van Trevor, and he is with his group on this 45, the Saturday Nights. This one charted number 12 on WDRC in Hartford, Connecticut. Let's go back to September of 1964. I think this is kind of got like a Beatles flavor to it. It's Van Trevor and the Saturday Nights. It's on Corsican. The name of the tune is called Satisfaction is Guaranteed. Has a Beatle flavor to it. What record does that sound like? That sounds like one of the Beatles hits. Yes, it does. Well, that's Van Trevor and the Saturday Night September 64 release on the Corsican, Corsican. That's the first label for this. Satisfaction is Guaranteed, and featured it on the original label. It would also come out on the Canadian American label, and it's unfortunate that Van Trevor, he passed away of a heart attack on December 6th, 2005 at the age of 65. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening as we continue and we make our first trip to the UK for this girl group trio out of Liverpool, England. They had a number of releases out on UK Decca and covered a lot of US hits too. But here in the US they recorded two on Gene Autry's Challenge label. They consisted of Maureen Kennedy, Frances Lee, and Gene Owens, who was doing lead on this song, and it's their second release on the Challenge label. They're known as the Vernon Girls, I think, on their first release, and they were also on this one. It's called the Vernon's Girls with an S. And we go back to September of 1964, Challenge record, the Vernon's Girls with Only You Can Do It.
Only know I like the way
That's the second release on Challenge for the Vernon's Girls. September 1964 release, Only You Can Do It is the name of the tune. Now, Jean Owen, she is on lead with that group there. Now, she would embark on a solo career, have a lot of records out in the UK under the name Samantha Jones, if you're familiar with Samantha Jones. You just heard her right there as Jean Owen. John G here for First Saturday Evening as we continue here. And let's move to 1967 for this singer from Bakersville, California. Began recording back in 1965. It's the second of three he has on this label called Manmore, M-A-N-M-O-R, and it's a cover song, a tune written by Joe South, who first recorded it in 1964 on the Tolly label as The Chips. But let's give a listen to this version by Augie Marino. Augie Marino, it's April 67 on the Manmore label, and his rendition of the song Party People.
Party people are such funny people. Oh, happy people, or so it seems. Oh, but those party people are such lonely people. Phony people who live in dreams. 'Cause when the music's gone and the lights come on and somebody says it's time to go home, it's those party people. Those party people always cry when the party's over. When the party's over. Party people, they seem like cheery people, but they're merry people with no place to run. Lord, have mercy on party people. They seem like proud people. Oh, and they're loud people living only for fun. So they numb their minds with their sparkling wine, and though they make a night that is true, it's those party people, those very same party people always cry when the party's over. When the party's over, they always cry. When the party's over, they always
Cover tunes here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, April 1967. Augie Marino's his name on the Manmore record label. His tune, or actually a cover of the Joe South tune, A Party People. I featured, a couple months ago, or more than a couple months ago, another one by Augie Marino. That was a pretty good one on the same label. Johnny G here, continuing with the 1960s. I have no info on this next 45. I posted it up on my Facebook wall, the first post I did this evening. I'm guessing this is a Philadelphia record because I see Virtue etched in the dead wax. That means it was recorded at Virtue Recording Studios in Philadelphia. Now, it's on the Miss Hemisphere record label, which I think back in 1967 there was a beauty contest production company, and I'm wondering if this is kind of related. Maybe she won a beauty contest. I have no clue, but the company was established in 1967. I'm guessing this record is from 67. So if anybody knows anything, you go to my Facebook wall, John Galindo, and see, and you can type in some thoughts there. But anyway, I bought this record from the Count, Bob Ellis, for any of you collectors out there that go to some of the tri-state, or at least on the East Coast, go to those record conventions. I bought this sometime in the early 80s from him, and he had a price on this. I think it was I don't know. I said, well, let me take it. I listened to a little bit of it. I said, well, it's worth $8 to me, but you could be the judge. Let's give it a spin. Lydia O'Connor's her name. It's on Miss Hemisphere Records, I'm guessing 1967, and the song is called Trouble Child. You think that 45's worth $8? I think it is. Lydia O'Connor's her name. Wonder if she was a beauty contestant. I'd love to see what she looks like, that's for sure. 1967 on Miss Hemisphere Records. I say it's out of Philadelphia, PA. Trouble Child is the name of the tune. Hopefully you weren't a troubled child. I know I wasn't, because I was into rare 45s. Yes, I was. Let's continue here. And I have another female artist, this time out of Romulus, Michigan. She recorded 3 on the Correct Tone label. This is her first, written by Richard Wiley and Nikki Todd. This one charted number 8 on WJIM in Lansing, Michigan. Let's give a listen to Miss Teresa Lindsay. Teresa Lindsay, oh, actually, this one, December 1963. Teresa Lindsay on Correct Tone and her tune called Gotta Find a Way.
He's tall, strong and handsome, got a charming smile. He always dresses in the latest style. I gotta find a way, make him mine. Yeah, yeah, 'cause he's gonna find. I gotta find a way, yeah, I gotta find a way.
That's a cool tune to dance to. That is for sure. December 63 release. Teresa Lindsay on the Correctone label. That is her first of three. Gotta Find a Way is the name of the tune. Now, after her releases on the Correctone label, she would sign with Golden World Records and other releases on the Golden World record label. Johnny G playing some cool 60s 45s out of my collection. Hope you're digging on the tunes as we continue for another female singer here. She recorded two on the Soundstage 7 label. Her name is Evelyn Braddon, but on her 45, she just put her first name, Evelyn, and this is the B-side to her second on the Soundstage 7 label. This one from March of 64. Her name is Evelyn. Soundstage 7 Records, and the tune is called A Little Bit of Hurt. March 1964 release there for Evelyn, Evaline. A Little Bit of Hurt is the name of the tune. It's on the Soundstage record label. That is the B-side to her second release on the Soundstage 7 record label. She would have another in 1970 on the Chanson label. Those of you that are watching on the Ustream broadcast, you got to get that ad block. It's a pain in the neck, that is for sure, but I can't pay $99 a month to have free views because that's what they want you to pay so you don't get the ads, but I can't really do that. Anyway, hope you're digging on the cool tunes this evening. It's all 1960s. I just got this next 45. Just came in the mail about maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, and it's R&B blues singer and guitarist born in Farmerville, Louisiana, but he relocated to Chicago, Illinois, started recording solo in the early 1960s and spanned well into the 1980s. And here's the B-side to his release on Maury Alexander's Tempting label. It's a song he wrote, and I think it's more of a northern sounding soul record than what he normally is, a bluesy type singer. But let's give it a spin from May of 66. His name is Bobby Jones on Tempting, and the song is called Slow Down, I'm Gonna Lose You.
And it's making you to do. But now I realize, much to my surprise, I'm putting hurt on you. I didn't mean it, baby. No, 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 I didn't mean to hurt you, honey. I don't wanna hurt you no more, baby. Please, my love, I'm gonna slow myself down now. I'm gonna slow myself down now, 'cause I don't wanna lose you. I don't wanna lose you. I don't wanna lose you, baby. No, 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 no.
Liking that one there. In the Top Shelf Foley Jam, that's him on guitar. He plays guitar. That's him for sure. Bobby Jones, May 1966. Slow Down, I'm Gonna Lose You. That's the name of the tune. It's on the Tempting label. Not many records on the TMP-TING out of Chicago, Illinois. And that's a cool tune. That's the B-side, too. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening spinning original vinyl 45s out of my collection. Program note, I will not be here December 9th. I have a birthday party to go to on December 9th, so the show is open to anyone who would like to take it over. So send Johnny G an email at vinyltreasures@aol.com if you would like to do the show Saturday evening. And I'm just sending it out there if somebody wants to fill in for a Saturday evening. And it's a kind of change of pace for some people. It might be nice to do, so there you go. There is an opening. Let's continue here. How about some Blue-Eyed Soul out of Philadelphia, PA? You know their signature song came out on the Crimson label in 1967. A big hit for them. It was called Expressway to Your Heart. They followed it up with two more on the Crimson label. So let's give a listen to their third, and it's a Kenny Gamble, Leon Huff composition. This did not do well for them, though. Did not do well nationally. Number 68 on Billboard, but it was a big number 13, and you would expect it out of WFIL in Philadelphia, PA. This one from March of 68. The Soul Survivors on Crimson, and their tune called Impossible Mission, parentheses, Mission Impossible.
She told me no dice.
Some Blue-Eyed Soul from March 1968 on the Crimson label. One of the thousands of labels that your host Johnny G collects, the soul survivors there with Impossible Mission. And that one there, their third release on the Crimson label. We continue here, and I don't feature many records from the 1970s, but once in a while I do venture into the 70s. Well, although this one does not sound like a 70s record, at least to me it does. And it was recorded in 1972. I think it was released, I think she got it released in 1974. This female singer from Chicago, Illinois, first started recording back in 1961 for Liberty Records. Now, her debut 45 on Liberty was a smash that I'm sure you all know. It was a song called Hurt. But this tune, written by David Porter and Isaac Hayes, is actually a cover. It was first recorded by Sam and Dave in 1967. But let's give a listen to Timmy Euro's version from 1974, and she also produced this 45. Let's go to 1974 on the Frequency label for Miss Timmy Euro and her rendition of the tune When Something Is Wrong with My Baby. That just does not sound like a 70s record to me. That's a great tune, I think. A cover tune there, Timmy Euro, 1974 release, When Something's Wrong with My Baby, came out on the Frequency label, and it was unfortunate that she passed away March 30th of 2003, and she was 63 years old. She passed away from throat cancer. She does a lot of great tunes, Miss Timmy Euro, and we remember her here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Let's continue, and we continue with another female singer. This gal, born Jacqueline Mary Baldane in Eudora, Arkansas, if I said that right, and she grew up in Shreveport, Louisiana. Then in 1954, she moved to San Francisco, California. In 1960, she married R&B saxophonist Big J McNeely, where they performed together till about 1965, when she recorded her first single on the Phelectron label in 1966, which I do need, by the way. Big Northern record, that's for sure. But in 66, she signed with the Modern record label. But here is one later than that from 1969. It's on Art Rupe's Specialty label, a late one on Specialty. And the song she wrote together with Maxwell Davis, a orchestra leader back in the 1950s. And her name is Jackie Day. This one from October 69. Jackie Day on Specialty. And the name of the tune is called What's the Cost?
How many times, child, have I said, what is the price? What's the price? And what's that cost? What's the cost? What is the price? What's the price? And what's that cost? What's the cost? To have love, to have love, to have love, to love and lost. Love and lost. How can you say, child, I know how you feel. You know your love, baby, it wasn't real. Now what's the price? What's the price? And what's that cost? What's the cost? What is the price? What's the price? And what's that cost? What's the cost? To have love, to have love, to have love, to love and lost. Other people sat alone. People have loved, child, and lost their dreams. So what's the price? What's the price? And what's that cost? What's the cost? What's the price? What's the price? And what's that cost? What's the cost? To have love, to have love, to have love, to love and lost. Love and lost. I paid my dues. Love and lost. I walked in these shoes.
It's nice to find 45s like that for $1. I don't know. I don't think that's really an expensive 45, but when I was buying 50s back in the sometime during my collecting career, I would get records from the latter 60s offered to me pretty cheaply. So I had a whole bunch for $1, and that was included there. Great one there from October 1969. Jackie Day on the Specialty label, and it looked cool because I was familiar with the Specialty label, all those great 50s records. But that's Jackie Day. What's the Cost is the name of the tune. She would have one more release on the Paula label back in 1971, and then after that she went into a coma in sometime in late 2006, and she passed away January 4th, 2007. But she has some great soul records on the Modern record label, that's for sure. John G here for a Saturday evening. Hope you're digging on all these cool 60s. We do it the last Saturday of every month, and then next week I'll go back to my 50s and early 60s. But let's continue here for this husband and wife duet. Now, the husband was a pioneer of Memphis blues, born in Memphis, Tennessee, started back in 1951 on the Chess label. Also, lots of other releases on the Duke and the RPM, even Sun Records, Flip, and VJ Records. Now, his spouse only recorded with her husband, and his name is Roscoe Gordon, and her name is Barbara Kerr, and they recorded as Roscoe and Barbara, and here is their release on High Weiss's Old Town record label, and it's a song that Roscoe Gordon wrote. Let's give it a spin. December 1964, Roscoe and Barbara on Old Town, and their tune called Could This Be Love?
Cry sometime. I wanna know what gets you out of my mind. If this be love, take it away. I had enough to last until my dying day. I wanna know, could this be love?
When you're near, what makes me feel so strong? If this be love, I better leave you alone.
All alone.
I can't sleep at night and food don't taste right. I'm a walking nightmare, I can't stand my own sight.
I gotta know,
Could this be love?
your face in every crowd. I see you when I close my eyes. But when you're gone, I spend my time alone, watching other lovers go by.
Yeah, I gotta know. Could this be love?
Won't you know?
With you on my mind, it make a few days of bad. Any little thing will make me so mad.
I gotta know, could this be love? I wanna know why. I gotta know why. Help me, somebody! Tell me why. Help me, somebody! I wanna know why. Help me, somebody! Just tell me why.
That's a husband and wife duet there. December 1964, High Weiss's Old Town record label. Roscoe and Barbara. Roscoe Gordon, Barbara Kerr, husband and wife team there. Could This Be Love is the name of that one. They would have other releases on a label they both owned. It was called Bab Rock Records. Unfortunate, though, that Roscoe Gordon, he passed away of a heart attack July 11th, 2002, and his wife, Barbara, she passed away earlier, 1984. But they got some cool tunes. Yes, they do. John G here for a Saturday evening. Let's continue here. And not much info on this next artist, but initially he was half of a duo with a release that had a release on the Blue Cat label, which I do have, they're called the Soul Brothers, a record they do in 1965. His name is Nate Adams, and he went on to have a solo single, one record on the Atlantic label. This one produced by Johnny Brantley. Let's go to December of 1967 for Nate Adams. It's on Atlantic Records. The tune is called Why Is It Taking So Long?
It's been some time ago since you told me you didn't love me anymore. And ever since that day, I've been trying to wash away the memory
Scratchy 45's, but what do you expect for a 25-cent purchase there? I got that one. That was a cheapie for Johnny G. December 1967. Nate Adams there, his only release on the Atlantic record label. Why is it taking so long? It probably should have said To Get Over You, because that was the title there. Anyway, cool soul records. A lot of cool soul tunes tonight on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Let's change it up a little bit here for this band out of Los Angeles, California. Their first release came out on the Orange Empire label, and they backed up Don Grady of My Three Sons fame on a tune he does, Little People, and they would go on to have 3 more singles on the Orange Empire label as the Palace Guard. And they would have 1 on the Verb label and finally 2 on Parkway. Here is the first of 2 on the Parkway label, a tune written by David Gates. We go to October 1966. It's on Parkway Records. They're called The Palace Guard. The Palace Guard, the name of the tune is called Saturday's Child. October 66 release there on the Parkway label. That is the first of 2 on Parkway for the Palace Guard, Saturday's Child, and also a tune recorded by the Monkees. They say that's a little bit more garagey sounding than the Monkees version. Now, the tune written by David Gates, the drummer of this group, his name was Emmett Rhodes. He would later become the lead of the Merry-Go-Round on the A&M record label. That is a fact. It's Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. Let's continue with some more. We stay in Los Angeles, California for this studio group, which is fronted by Randy Myers, who happens to be a singer, a songwriter, Jackie DeShannon's brother. And Jackie DeShannon wrote and produced both sides of this 45. Came out on the World Pacific label. The group is called Raga and the Talas. Raga and the Talas, and I'm playing the intended A side of the 45. It's on World Pacific, September 1966. The tune is called My Group and Me. Well, they're liking that one there in the top shelf oldies chat room. That's Raga and the Tallis, September 1966. Now, Raga, his name is Randy Myers. He is Jackie DeShannon's brother. She wrote and produced that 45 on the World Atlas record label, and that was the intended A side. Actually, I have a sticker on mine. It says, well, it says Ernie Farrell Music Company. I thought it said push this side, although there is an X on that one. It's styrene. You know I hate styrene 45s. Yes, I do. Let's continue here. Got a request for Bopper Boy Warren. Warren, I was able to get 2 of your requests, thankfully, that I was able to find. And he wanted to hear this singer from Bristol, Rhode Island. He was the lead singer for a group called the Class Airs in 1963. They had have a rare record, a rare group harmony record on the Honeybee label. And his real name, the lead singer, his real name is Jerry Raymond, but later he changed his name to Cal Ray when he started his solo career. And Warren requested the A-side of this 45. Came out on the Super label, and it's a Van McCoy pen tune, actually, because he is covering this song. It was originally done by the Sweet Things on the Date label back in 1966. But let's give a listen to Warren's request, April 66, for Cal Ray on Super. The tune is called You're My Lovin' Baby.
Just one look at you, baby, and my heart was beating like crazy, and my eyes were bright as the stars above. You spoke and smiled so sweetly and stole my heart so completely that I knew without a doubt you're the one I dreamed about. You're my loving baby, my sweet loving baby. Yes, you're the girl that I have waited for. At last I found you. Tell me you're going to be my girl. Tell me that you'll never say goodbye, 'cause you're all I've been waiting for. Let me love and adore you, and I'd do just anything for you, 'cause I'm sure there'll never be anybody else for me. You're my loving baby, my sweet loving baby. Yes, you're the girl that I've waited for. At last I found you. Tell me you'll be mine forever, baby. Tell me that all you need forever, baby. You're my loving baby, my sweet loving baby. Yes, you're the girl that I've waited for. You're my loving baby, my sweet loving baby. You're my loving baby, my sweet loving baby.
By request for Bopper Boy Warren, currently in the top shelf oldies chat, and that's Cal Ray and some chicks backing him up on that one. April 1966 is on the Super label. You're My Lovin' Baby is the name of the tune. I think I have some garagey records by the Ascots on the Super label, same label, but I think that label is, the later ones are black. This was a yellow label with kind of like a greenish print. John G here, spinning my 1960s 45s. Hope you're digging on these tunes here. Can't tell you much about this next 45 except that it's on a label called Boss Records out of Louisville, Kentucky. Now, the label owners were Ray Allen and Hardy Martin. It's the first of 2, though, for this artist on the Boss label. His name is Paul Wolf. Wolfe. Paul Wolfe. It's from early 1966. The name of the song is called the name of the tune is called I Crossed My Fingers. Okay, Jeff, that is Paul Wolfe, Wolfe. I think anybody knows about that record. You might be able to pick that one up pretty cheap if you find it. Early 1966 release, the first of two on the Boss label out of Louisville, Kentucky. I Crossed My Fingers is the name of the tune. As we move on here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, here's another record I remember buying at the Yonkers Raceway Flea Market. It's not in great shape, but it's for what do you want for 10 cents? You really 10 cents records, I'll buy them all day long if they look interesting. And the interesting thing about this one was I saw Horace Ott as the writer, so I said, maybe this is good. But again, in my early days of collecting, I would always purchase records on the cheap if they were 10, 25 cents, and especially if the label looked interesting or I recognized an orchestra leader or a writer. Well, this next 45 was a 10-cent special out of Mount Morris, Michigan, wherever that place is, if you've ever been there. And it's on the Washington Square label. It was produced at Prophonic Studios, which was label owner Paul Potts' basement. That's where the studios were. And the song was written by Horace Ott. First recorded by D.D. Warwick on the Blue Rock label in 1965. So how about we listen to another cover tune here from 1967. This group is called The Dimensions with an I. The Dimensions on Washington Square. And they're doing the D.D. Warwick tune, We're Doing Fine.
Strong
say, 6 girls couldn't pull me away. My love is hers, her love is mine. Ooh, we're doing fine. Baby, we're doing fine. Baby, we're still in love, and that's a pretty good sign. I say, hey, we're doing fine. Baby, we're doing fine. Baby, don't let there be any doubt in anyone's mind. I say, hey, we're doing fine. Baby, we're doing fine. Baby. We have a quarrel now and then, but it's so good to be back in love again. My love is hers, her love is mine. Ooh, we're doing fine. Baby, we're doing fine. Baby, we're doing fine. Yeah, baby, we're doing fine. Yeah, baby, we're doing fine. Fine, baby, we're doing fine. Fine, baby, we're doing fine.
Scratchy 45's there, and actually recorded in the basement. Sounds like it was recorded in the basement, so scratches don't help, unfortunately. What are you going to do? 1967, a group called The Dimensions out of Mount Morris, Michigan, on the Washington Square label, and a cover tune there called We're Doing Fine. John G doing fine for a Saturday evening. I hope you're thinking that. Featuring 1964 and later sounds out of my collection. We do it the last Saturday of every month. Usually the other three Saturdays, it's 1950s and early 60s. That's my specialty. But I've been collecting these 60s records for years because I run the labels. And when I was buying those expensive 50s records, the guys would ask me, you need any 60s records or early 70s? I said, well, it depends. You just sold me a $2,000 45. If you're going to sell me these for $1, I'll take them. So they would call me up and read these numbers, record numbers, constantly over the phone. You need Columbia 4285, 5748, and I'd say yes, yes. $1. If it's $1, I'll take it. So I ended up with a whole bunch of 45s, and again, you know, I can't have 185 50s and early 60s, so it has to extend into the 60s and the 70s, which it does. So I'll feature them on the last Saturday of every month. Some cool tunes, hopefully some new sounds that you're hearing and you're digging on. I think you guys are. Let me know if you are. But let's continue here, because I'm still buying them, because I bought this one not too long ago because I liked it. Now I'm buying for a little bit more on sound because I'm kind of running out of space. And Barbara's going to yell at me because I'm running out of the space. But I just got this record not too long ago for this artist from Denham Springs, Louisiana. Made his debut back in 1961 on the Ron label. Has another cool record that I have featured on Sonora from 62, a song called Here I Go Again. Then in 64, he signed with Sam Montalbano's Montel label, and he released 5 45s on the label. This is his fourth, and it's a cover. This tune was originally recorded by Danny White on the Frisco label back in 62. Let's give a listen to this cover, which charted regionally. This was number 20 on WAWA out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. This one from November 65. His name is Lee Tillman. Lee Tillman on Montel. The tune is called Kiss Tomorrow, Goodbye.
Our wedding day, but with my own 2 win, my heart I'll cry. My love for you still lingers on, but you can kiss tomorrow goodbye. Of all the love I've ever had, baby, I love you the most. How could you break my heart, wreck all my plans without a wedding day? So close my eyes, still point from crying. But when all the teardrops dry, I'm gonna find myself another love, and you can kiss tomorrow goodbye. You can tell tomorrow goodbye. A kiss tomorrow goodbye. There'll be no tomorrow for you, 'cause you made me cry today, baby. So kiss tomorrow goodbye.
I like that tune. Lee Tillman there. Lee Tillman, November 1965. A cover tune there, originally done by Danny White. No, Danny, not Danny White, the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. Who knows where he is? But that's Lee Tillman's version of Kiss Tomorrow Goodbye. Came out on the Montel label. Actually, I think later on, Montel Michelle. They're the same. They use the same numbering sequence. So for you label collectors out there, let's continue. Here's another artist I can't find any info on. She recorded 2 on Neil Soenberg's Nelber label, and this is the A-side of her first, a song she co-wrote with arranger Gil Askey. Her name is Helen, not Henry. I'm thinking of the 50s producer. No, her name is Helen Glover, and I don't know if there's any relation to Henry Glover or the other Glover guy, but it's a good tune. I like the song. I have a mint one floating around somewhere. This was my VG copy I got pretty cheaply. Helen Glover, March 1964 on Nelber Records. The tune is called Just Like That.
I was on my way to school one day, and baby, all the way I saw this guy at the corner store. I fell in love with him. I fell in love with him just like that.
Scratchy 45's. That's the first of two on Nelber Records, Nelber. Helen Glover, March 1964 release. Just Like That is the name of the tune. And just like that, you can tune in to Johnny G and the Vinyl Treasure Show Saturdays from 10 to midnight, and you hear scratchy records and clean records like this next one. It is dance time, although I played a number of cool dance records that you can dance to, but this one is actually a dance that's named a dance, and as it's performed by this Philadelphia PA group, they were the creation of Little Joe Cook, and the same Little Joe Cook who had a huge hit with Peanuts back in 1957. Now, the group consisted of Cook's two daughters, Delphine and Danelle Cook, along with cousin Charlotte Butler and another gal by the name of Dolores Weil. And their debut single came out on the Guidon label, and they had 4 singles on the Guidon label, and one more followed on Mercury, and then this release came out in 1965, co-written by Little Joe Cook and his daughter Delphine, who is doing lead, as we're all going to dance now. This one from 65. This group is called the Sherrys. It's on the Roberts label, and we're all going to do the slow jerk. It's very easy to do the slow jerk, and they used to do it on American Bandstand all the time, at least like if you look 1964, 65, a lot of the records, they'd be able to stand there and you bring your hands up and down. That is a slow jerk. That's a cool tune from 1965. Those are the Sherrys on the Roberts label. Slow Jerk is the name of the tune. They also have, I think, later releases there, very expensive on the Hot label and the JJ label for the Sherrys. They go for some big bucks. Johnny G does not have those. I have a lot. I don't have them all, but I have a lot as we feature them here on a Saturday evening. Cool 60s sounds as we continue. And those of you that tune into my 50s show, you know this next singer, feature this next artist actually a few weeks ago on my 50s show, was the lead of a group called the Chevelles on the Vital label, also was the lead of the Valiants on Keen back in 1957. I'm talking about Billy Storm, who had a number of cool solo releases in the 1960s on a number of different labels. Now this is one he recorded on the Blue Star label, and it's a song written by Bobby Darin. I couldn't find if Bobby Darin recorded this because it didn't come up in the search engine. Maybe he did on an album, I don't know, but interesting that this is a Bobby Darin pen tune. It's from August of '65. It's Billy Storm on Blue Star. Give a listen to the tune. It's called It's What's Happening, Baby.
It's the same all over. What's the same all over? Happening all over, baby. Yeah. There's a new thing coming. We sure have started something. It's what's happening, baby, now. It used to be bad for you and me to work out on the floor. Now it ain't so bad no more, 'cause my mom and dad do it too. So it's okay for me and you. It's the same all over. What's the same all over? Happening all over, baby. Yeah. There's a new thing coming. We sure have started something. It's what's happening, baby, now. Oh, baby, how I laugh when I think about what's happening. Everybody put us down for digging all the groovy sound. Now everybody in the station is calling it a new sensation. Now let me tell you about a old Mrs. Jones. I left her happy home. She ain't been seen in weeks. She went down the street in peace. She didn't know they are working. How now you see her every night a jerking. All right. It's the same all over. What's the same all over? Happening, yeah, all over, baby. There's a new thing coming. We sure have started something. It's what's happening, baby, now. Let me tell you one more time that it's what's happening. All right, it's what's happening. Oh yeah, it's what's happening. It's what's happening.
You know, it's what's happening here on Top Shelf Oldies from 10 to midnight right here at Johnny G's Vinyl Treasure Show, and that is Billy Storm with a cool tail slapper, as North Dakota Bob would say. August 1965, It's What's Happening, Baby is the name of that one on the Blue Star record label, and Bobby Darin wrote the tune. Interesting tune there. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. As we continue, we have a nice, great, soulful sound up next. We head back to Detroit, Michigan. This is on the Cool School label. Now, the lead singer's, his real name is Don Equihart, but he shortened it to Don Hart, and it's a song he wrote, and it's a great tune to play for all our veterans on Veterans Day, but I didn't have it. It was a 50s and early 60s show, but this is a good song for that day for sure, so let's send it out to all the veterans. It's from late 1967. I mentioned on the Cool School label. It's Don Hart and the Five, F-Y-V-E, and the name of the tune is called Soldier Comin' Home.
Keep on
late 1967 sound there for Don Hart and the Five. I like that kind of soul sound there. Soldier Coming Home, the name of the tune. It's on the Cool School label. Now, he had an earlier release on the same Cool School label, a duet with Don Hart and James Shorter, a song called It's in My what? Jaji can't read his writing, what I typed there, but there is another the prior release to this is another soulful sound that he does. I guess that duet with James Shorter and Don Hart. You're going to have to check it out as I lose my mind. Let's continue here for a Saturday evening. And here's another 10-cent purchase, but it's on styrene, and I hate styrene as we go to the Cap label for this gal from Ithaca, New York. She had 2 releases on the Cap label. This is her first, arranged by Leroy Glover. This one charted here in New York City, number 51 on WMCA. They were playing this one here in New York City. It's from August of 65. Her name is Diana Newby, Newby. It's on Cap Records. The tune is called What You're Putting Me Through.
Yes, you upset me, baby, with the things you do. Yeah, yes, you upset me, baby, through and through. Oh, yeah, the way you walk down the street, the way you talk when we meet. You don't know, no, you don't know what you're putting me through. Yes, you move me, baby, with your dreamy eyes, yeah. And when I see them, baby, oh, how they hypnotize me, oh, yeah. There's a lot that I would do for a boy as sweet as you. You don't know, no, you don't know what you're putting me through. Well, I give my heart if you would ask me to. And I give my soul for the chance of loving you. Yes, you shake me, baby, the way you smile, yeah. And when I see you, baby, you know I'm shook for a while. Oh, yeah. One thing in this world I want for me to be your girl. You don't know, no, you don't know what you're putting me through. Yeah, you move me, baby. You got me walking around, yeah, with my head on a cloud, yeah. Got me so uneasy.
That's a styrene 45 that plays pretty well, I have to say, thankfully. Diana Newby's her name, August 1965 release on the Cap label. What You're Putting Me Through is the name of that one. Now, that's the first of 2 on Cap. In 1970, she would have a release on the Mercury label as Newby and Johnson, a duet. And that Johnson was Willie Johnson. John G here for a Saturday evening. As we continue, we welcome Dave the Rave, host of Relics and Rarities, tomorrow evening here on Top Shelf Oldies 9 to midnight. Tune in to Dave for those cool 60s 45s out of his collection. Dave, a record collector like me, and has got some very cool tunes. Yes, he does. And we continue here. Got a B-side from the last 60s show. I featured this girl group out of Kalamazoo, Michigan, and it was their last overall release on Berry Gordy Jr.'s Soul label. I played the tune These Things Will Keep Me Loving You, and the B-side's pretty nice of that 45, and it's a recycled B-side because this flip was also the flip of their 4th release on the VIP label, if you're familiar with their tune A Bird in the Hand. And that one, an earlier release on the VIP. This one features Carolyn Gill on lead. Let's go to August of 1966. These are the Velvelettes on Soul with a B-side. It's called Since You've Been Loving Me.
My world of
Really, most of the Motown 45's, both the A and B sides, are just as good. They're good songs, both sides of a lot of those Motown releases. Definitely like that one. The Velvelettes there with the B side to their last single on the Soul label, August 1966. Carolyn Gill on lead. The Velvelettes with Since You Been Loving Me. Let's continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Let's stay in the year 1966, and let's stay with the B-sides too, as this trio, composed of two brothers, Dean and Mark Mathis, along with lead singer Larry Henley, they were known as the New Beats. They had 21 releases between 1964 and 1972 for the Nashville-based Hickory label, and I'm featuring another B-side. This is the B-side to their 7th release for Hickory. I'm sure you know their tune called Shake Hands. We're going to flip it over, give a listen to the B-side from January 1966. The New Beats on Hickory, Larry Henley on lead. The B-side's called Too Sweet to Be Forgotten.
You're too sweet to be forgotten. You're too sweet to be forgotten.
You're quite a girl, I tell you why.
Your pretty smile,
Your pretty face,
your big brown eyes.
you're just great, yeah.
You're too sweet to be forgotten. You're too sweet to be forgotten.
You're quite a girl, I tell you why.
When you talk,
You thrill me so.
the way you hold me,
It's hard to let you go.
'cause I love you.
Yes, I really love you.
And I need you.
Oh, I really need you.
Need you.
Need you. Need you.
Too sweet to be forgotten. You're too sweet to be forgotten.
You're quite a girl, I tell you why.
I had you for a while.
You just wouldn't stay.
You were too wild.
But I still say, yeah,
That I love you.
yes, I really love you.
And I need you.
Oh, I really need you. Need you. Need you.
Too sweet to be forgotten. You're too sweet to be forgotten. You're too sweet to be forgotten. You're too sweet to be forgotten.
B-sides here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. You got to play your B-sides. Dave the Rave probably went to check on that record. He had it all along because Dave didn't play his B-sides, not until he was talking to Johnny G. So, Dave, you don't have to check if you have that record, because you do have it, because I know you play Shake Hands, and if you look on your wall, you have Shake Hands as the A-side. Just making a little note that the flip side's pretty good, too. That's the B-side to Shake Hands. Those are the New Beats, January 1966. Larry Henley on lead. Too Sweet to Be Forgotten is the name of that tune, and we don't want to forget Larry Henley. We lost Larry Henley on December 16th of 2014. He was 77 years old. He died of, it was called a specific dementia. It was called Lewy body dementia. I guess there's various forms of it, but he'd been suffering from Parkinson's and Alzheimer's diseases, and an unfortunate fate for Larry Henley, but we remember him here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Let's continue And up next, an excellent soul group. They are from Jersey City, New Jersey. They had 4 releases on the Columbia label, and how unfortunate that none of them really were national hits. I'm playing their first record on Columbia, and I guess we can say this was their biggest hit, because it did make the national charts, but it only made it up to number 93. 93 on Billboard, did a little better on Cashbox, and went up to 84 on Cashbox. But on the Billboard R&B chart was number 23, but a big number 2 on WBEE out of Chicago, Illinois. It features Robert Shivers on lead. This one from August of 65. We go to Columbia Records, give a listen to the Spellbinders and their tune called For You.
I would cross the desert sands on my knees and hands for you, girl. For you, girl. For you. For you. For you. Baby, baby, baby. I would swim the deepest sea if I thought you wanted me to, girl. For you. For you, baby, baby, baby. You've been so good to me. Everything a lover should be. So sweet in every way. And that's why I wanna say there is nothing in the world that I wouldn't do for you, girl.
Yes, Dave the Rave, a Columbia promo 45 on styrene that plays pretty decent. That's a cool tune by the Spellbinders, August 1965 release. Robert Shivers on lead for that one. For You is the name of the tune. It's the first of 4 for Columbia, and their other 3 records, they tried to get these records to go national, but they only bubbled under. At least they bubbled under, but they did do well regionally. This group did do well regionally on a lot of their singles. JohnnyG's here for a Saturday evening. Hope you're digging on the tunes here, and I'm going to play both sides of this next 45, and it's the final overall release for this great Brooklyn, New York group that began recording on Jerry Winston's Onyx record label back in 1956. I know Bopper Boy Warren knows who I'm talking about. I feature them often on my 50s show. They are the Velours, and in 1967, the group consisted of 3 original members, Jerome Ramos, John Cheatham, and Donald Haywood, and they added a new member. His name was Richard Pitts, and this is their last single using the name Velours because they did continue to record over in the UK. But this one came out on the MGM label, and it's actually the B-side of the 45. And it's a cover song that was first recorded by the Four Seasons. The Four Seasons did this first. And it only came out on an LP. The LP was called the Four Seasons New Gold Hits. It's on that album, and I think there's a bootleg going around on the Smash label. It's not an original because it only came out on that album, but it's the B-side of this Velours final release on MGM. Let's give it a spin. July 1967, the Velours on MGM and their rendition of the Four Seasons tune, I'm Gonna Change.
I know you're gonna leave me. You never could deceive me, baby. Don't say our love is ended. What's wrong that can't be mended? Don't say goodbye. I love you so completely. I never meant to treat you like you were always in the way, girl. So much I didn't say, girl, don't go away. You're gonna bring up the best in me. I'll be the rain, all the wrong that I've done. I'm gonna make you be so proud of me. I love you so completely. I never meant to treat you like you were always in the way, girl. So much I didn't say, girl, don't go away. No chance to say the things I didn't say. I'm gonna change. You're gonna bring up the best in me. I'll be the rain, all the wrong that I've done. I'm gonna change. I'm gonna make you be so proud of me. Wait and see.
Cover tunes here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Those are the Velours. The Velours doing a Four Seasons tune, I'm Gonna Change. And that one there on the MGM record label, July 1967. That was their last overall release. And you can get the Four Seasons version on their album. It's called Four Seasons New Gold Hits. Came out, I think, in July of 67, about the same time this 45. But that was the B-side of the record. We're going to give a listen to the A-side. In between, I have actually a Four Seasons flip from the last 60s edition. On the last 60s show, I played the B-side of their 1969 release on Bob Crew's Crew label. I played the Singles Game, and that was the name of the tune, originally done by Jay and the Techniques. Now, the intended A-side is also a cover that charted at number 45 on Billboard, number 33 on Cashbox, and the original was done by Della Reese in 1957, and we just lost Della Reese less than a week ago, November 19th, 2017. She was 86 years old. So let's give a listen to the Four Seasons version of the tune on Bob Crew's Crew record label, Frankie Valli on lead. This one from August 1969, the Four Seasons on Crew with their rendition of the tune, And That Reminds Me.
Your favorite kind of music, and that reminds me, girl, of you. I see the summer roses, your favorite shade of roses, and that reminds me too of you. If I could hear no music, if there could be no roses, no summer nights to make me dream as I do, I still would not forget you. One thing would still be true. My heart reminds me I love you. Baby, you know I hear the sound. I hear the sound surrounding me. I see the summer roses, your favorite shade of roses, and that reminds me too of you. If I could hear no music, if there could be no roses, no summer nights to make me dream as I do, I still would not forget you. One thing would still be true. My heart reminds me I love you.
Cover tunes here on the Vinyltreasure Show. August 69 release for the Four Seasons. Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons covering that to Della Reese tune, And That Reminds Me, parentheses, My Heart Reminds Me. The full title of the song came out on Bob Crew's Crew label. Now, that should have done better on the national charts. It did do well on a number 4 record on KIRL out of St. Charles, Missouri, but maybe should have been more of a national hit. It was not. Johnny G has 4 45s to go. I have a request for Charlene and a request for Bopper Boy Warren, but let's flip over that to Velour's 45. We actually heard the B-side. Let's give a listen to the intended A-side. This was written by group member John Cheatham. Both sides of this MGM release were produced and arranged by Alan Lorber. Let's go to July 67. Give a listen to the intended A-side by the Velours on MGM. The tune is called Don't Pity Me. That's the intended A side of the Velours. It sounds like Jerome Ramos on lead on that side. It definitely does. July 1967, the Velours on MGM, Don't Pity Me. Now, after this release, some of the members relocated out to the UK and continued to record for MGM UK as the Fantastics. I guess they had releases both here in the US and out in the UK on MGM, Durham, Bell, and other labels, but they were based out of the UK. John G here for a Saturday evening as we wind down. I got a request for Charlene, a request for Warren, and then we're going to close the show. And we're going to send this next one out to Charlene. She wanted to hear the lead singer of Bob Cuban and the Inmen, who had a hit back in 1966 called The Cheater. Came out on the Musicland USA record label, a tune that I really like. And the lead singer there is not Bob Cuban. It was really Walter Scott, but Walter's real name is Walter Nothius. I think that's how you pronounce it. He's from St. Louis, Missouri, but he changed his name to Walter Scott. He had a number of solo releases. This is his third of 5 on the Musicland USA record label, and it charted regionally. This was a big number 3 on KXOK out of St. Louis, and also big on WGEM in Quincy, Illinois. We'll send it out to Charlene Whiteside, my administrative assistant. Thank you, Charlene. From September 1967, Walter Scott on Musicland USA. It's called Just You Wait.
Just you wait, and I will show you what a man was meant to be. Just you wait, and you will see how much you really mean to me. But darling, if you turn away and go, then you will never know just how
Gotta say happy birthday to Jangle Pop Billy's birthday, actually this Saturday that just ended. So we say happy birthday to Jangle Pop Billy. And also, Today, it is the 26th of November. I got to say happy birthday to Ramtown Mike, our Wednesday DJ. Happy birthday, Mike. And best wishes to both of you on your birthdays. And let's continue here. That one there for Charlene Whiteside, the Walter Scott, September 1967. I featured it on the Musicland label. The tune is called Just You Wait. Also, you can get it, you collectors, on the White Whale label. Came out on both labels. Now, it was very unfortunate that Walter, he would disappear on December 27th, 1983. Then in April 1987, his body was found floating face down in a cistern. He was hog-tied and he was shot in the back. And Walter's second wife pleaded guilty, hindering the prosecution. She received 5 years in prison, and her lover, who she married in 1986, he was found guilty on 2 counts of murder. He murdered his previous wife, and he murdered Walter Scott, and he ended up dying in prison is what happened to her lover anyway. But that was an unfortunate demise for a great singer like Walter Scott. John G. losing his voice, but 2 more 45s to go. And this is another request for Bopper Boy Warren, who requested this artist born in Coffeyville, Alabama, but he moved to Chicago, Illinois in 1962 to replace the rhythm guitarist, a rhythm guitarist by the name of Mighty Joe Young from Otis Rush's band. And Warren requested his debut single that came out on the Avin, A-V-I-N label, and it's a song he wrote, this one from late 1965, Avin Records. It's Roy Hightower, and the tune is called I Want Some More.
I want some more. Want some more. Got it once before, I just can't leave it alone. Want some more. No loving today. Come on, baby, don't be that way. I got to have it right now. Got some love and one a day. Come on, baby, don't be that way. Love. I want some more. Got it once before, I just can't leave it alone. Got it once before, just can't leave it alone. Hey baby, baby please. Hey baby, don't leave. Put it on me right now. You got some baby that's worrying my mind. It's been that way a long time. Love. Listen, baby, want some more. Want some more. Got it once before, I just can't leave it alone. Got it once before, I just can't leave it alone. Your love upset me so, I just gotta have some more. Right now, right now. You don't share your love with me. What a mess this could be.
Late 1965 release there for Roy Hightower. requested by Bopper Boy Warren. Thank you, Warren, for those requests. Going to be working on others. That's on the Avon record label. I Want Some More is the name of the tune, and he would have other releases on Expo and Brainstorm and Blue Rock and others. Well, if you want some more, you're only going to get one more 45, because that's going to do it for Johnny G and the Vinyl Treasure Show. I want to thank you for joining Johnny G, listening to cool original vinyl 45s out of my collection. You want to get in touch with me, send me an email at vinyltreasures@aol.com. Send me your requests. Sometimes it's difficult, but I do know if I have the records. That is for sure. It's finding them. I need Charlene and Barbara to help to search for the 45s. But anyway, we've been recording this one on the Ustream broadcaster. I'll get it up on my YouTube wall. You can check out Johnny G's Vinyl Treasure Show. Got a whole slew of recorded shows. You can check them out there on YouTube. Also, go to my website, vinyltreasures.net. You can stream or download the shows there. And we're going to close the show tonight with a song arranged and conducted by Charlie Colello. It came out on Ollie McLaughlin's, did I say that right? Yeah. Carla label, a label that he named after his daughter Carla, and it's from July of '66. The gal's name is Barbara Paul. Barbara Paul, it's on Carla Records. The closer's called Don't Let the Party End, but it is ending, and you can continue to listen to the auto, that is for sure, but it's going to end this evening. I enjoy bringing you my 1960s 45s. We do it the last Saturday of every month. Please tune in tomorrow evening, starting at 9 p.m., 9 to midnight, right here for my buddy Dave the Rave and his Relics and Rarities show. And Dave's got some cool 45s like Johnny G does, but he's got a lot of garage tunes, a lot of soul, a lot of rock and roll. So you're going to like that show. Tune in tomorrow evening for Dave the Rave, and that's going to do it. I hope everybody has a great Sunday. I'm off Monday, so that's pretty good. I got a lot of things to do. I got to do some filing, got to move some stuff down in the no humidity basement. But I hope you'll tune in next Saturday. Join me back here next Saturday evening from 10 to midnight. I'll be doing my 50s and all 60s edition of the Vinyl Treasure Show. That's going to do it, folks. Thank you again, Charlene. Want everybody to have a safe and happy week. I'll see you here next Saturday night. Just want to say, everybody, so long.